So let us start with the first question. First question says, how much is the total area of Karnataka? How much is the total area of Karnataka? So these are some of the basic questions. Here the answer is 191,791 square kilometers. Now let us look at the source of this also. It has been mentioned in the state textbooks because we are discussing about the questions which has been in the state textbook. But if you are looking at the latest survey, which is Economic Survey of Karnataka 2023-2024, which was released in February 2024. So in the first chapter of this particular survey, it has been mentioned very clearly. Now, one thing which you have to observe over here is that it is mentioning about 2011 times. Now, why is it mentioning about 2011 and not 2023-2024? It is because the survey was conducted in 2023-2024, but the census was conducted previously in 2011. Next census had to be conducted in 2021, but it has still not been conducted yet. So if they are asking you questions in examination also, they will always mention according to the census. So you concentrate on that particular part of the question wherein they are mentioning according to census. According to census 2011, they'll mention about this. So if they're asking you about maternal mortality rate, infant mortality rate, literacy ratio, so in all these particular context, you have to remember that they are asking you in or with respect to 2011 census. So if you are looking in the survey also of 2023-2024, they have mentioned it is 191,791. This seems to be like a fancy number that is easier to remember in that case, right? So it is like 191,791, so something like that. So it constitutes to 5.83% of the total geographical area, and the population also, it says, accounts to be 5.05% of the country's population in 2011. That is because of the census, and it says it is 610,95297. It also mentions about 28 states and 8 union territories, and the state is urbanized steadily. The state is urbanized steadily. Now, why is this statement important? Because at some point of a time they'll ask, consider the following statements. Consider the following statements. So in that first statement they'll give, Karnataka is urbanized steadily. Okay. Then next one they'll give, the GDP of Karnataka has been growing steadily, or the exports of Karnataka has been increasing steadily. So usually these keywords are very important for us to remember, which is steadily. So you can get it directly from the survey only. So they are telling the state is urbanized steadily. In terms of urbanization, the state has witnessed an increase of 4.68% in the proportion of urban population in last decade. So these are important for us. Now what it is saying, it is telling 4.68% is the urbanization when you consider the whole last decade. Okay, let us move on to the second question. Here, according to the census, it is again mentioned over here that it is 9th largest state. They have mentioned over here only it is 9th largest state. Okay, it is mentioned as 9th largest state. Let's move on to the next question. Let us look at the second question. Consider the following statements about geography of Karnataka. Here, the first statement says the number one district by area is Bengaluru urban. Second statement says the number one district by population is Belagavi. So here, let us look at the facts first, depending upon 2011 census. Now, the first one says the largest and smallest district in Karnataka by population. It is saying about population. So the second statement is also asking about the population, the number one district by population. So what is the statement saying here? So if you are looking at Bengaluru urban district, it is the most populated district in Karnataka. It is the most populated district in Karnataka, whereas the statement here says that the most populated district is Belagavi. So this statement has to be wrong. Next one, its population as per census 2011. Census 2011. So you have to concentrate on this thing over here. We are speaking with respect to census. So it is 96 lakhs. Now it has been increased to way bigger number. It has been increased to way bigger number, but according to 2011 census, it is 96 lakh. Okay. So next statement also it is saying that Kodagu district with the population of 554, it is the least populated district in Karnataka. So this is 554 odd, which is the least populated district. So the least populated district also we got to know it is Kodagu. The least populated district is Kodagu, and the most populated is Bengaluru urban. So Bangalore urban or Bengaluru urban. So this is according to census 2011. Now let us look at the other facts. Next it is saying about the largest and smallest district in Karnataka in terms of area. Because if they are asking you the question with respect to 2011 census, this has to be answered. So Belagavi district, which is covering 13415 square kilometers, it is the largest district of Karnataka. Whereas if you are looking at the statement over here, it is saying that the number one district by area is Bengaluru urban. So here the statement is wrong. Here we got the answer which is none of the above. However, let us look at both the context over here. Which is the largest in terms of area? In terms of area, it is Belagavi, and the smallest is Bengaluru urban, which they have mentioned over here, and this is also according to the census 2011. So the statements or the answer has been inversed. Here the answer is D, none of the above. Now let us come to the third question. Consider the following statement about geography of Karnataka. Now these we have seen in the previous question itself, correct? Least populated district is Kodagu, and the smallest district by area is Bengaluru urban. Now we have seen about this in previous question itself. You comment down in the comment section what is the correct answer. You just write it as answer for 3 is, let's say, A, B, C or D. What is the correct answer? You write it down in the comment section. Which of the following port is called as the gateway to Karnataka? Marwante, Murdeshwara, Karwar, none of the above. Answer here is D, none of the above. Because New Mangaluru port. Answer here is New Mangaluru port. It is known as the gateway to Karnataka. Now let us look at a few most important points before we continue. Because whenever you consider about physical divisions of Karnataka, on the basis of its structure, Karnataka can be divided into 3 most important physical divisions. First one is the coast. Second division is the Malnad. Third division is Maidan. So the coast, Malnad and Maidan. Now let us take this as an example of Karnataka map. This is just an example of Karnataka map. So this particular region over here and this particular region, you can divide Karnataka into 3 parts, correct? So here you have Arabian Sea. So this is a coastal plain. After coastal plain, you have Malnad region. And the third one is Maidan. In this case, because it is big, you can divide it into northern Maidan, and this is the southern Maidan. Okay, this is the physical divisions based on the structure and relief of Karnataka. Now let us look at the coast of Karnataka. The coast. If you look at the map over here, then this is Arabian Sea. Over here you have Arabian Sea. So the region between Arabian Sea and Malnad, you can call it as coast. And if you look at the coastline, this Karnataka has a coastline of 320 kilometers from Mangaluru, to Karwar. From Mangaluru to Karwar. In the south you have Mangaluru, and in the north you have Karwar. In the north you have Karwar. After that Goa starts. Okay, so it is 320 kilometers of coastline. Now what is the width of the coast? It varies from 12 to 64 kilometers. 12 to 64 kilometers. Okay, it is broad in the south, so you have to see it is broad in the south, and it becomes narrow with steep slopes in the north. It is broad in the south and it becomes narrow towards the north. Now its height is more than 200 meters above sea level. So the coast itself is also known as Canara or Karnataka coastline. It is known as Canara or Karnataka coastline. There are no deltas formed. Now for example, you can see Sundarbans, it is the largest delta, but here there are no deltas formed because it is very steep at that particular point, and you have ghats there. So because of that only there is no delta which is formed. And there are various ports also along the coastline. For example, there is New Mangaluru port, which is the major port. You have Bhatkala, Malpe, Karwar, Kumta, Belikere, Honnavara. So these are fishing ports. Then there are some most important factual points with respect to coast which you have to remember. You have to note these things down. In that, the first one is the gateway to Karnataka. The gateway to Karnataka is New Mangaluru port. Then there is St. Mary's Island. And it is referred to as Tonse Par. Locally, it is referred to as Tonse Par. This is first thing. Also, this St. Mary's Island, it is also known as Coconut Island. It is near Malpe. Okay, it is near Malpe. Then there are different islands also. There is Kanjiguda Island, there is Devgad. So Karwar and Devgad, Kanjiguda Islands are also notable. The main occupation of people itself in the coast is fishing, but agriculture also is very important there. After this, there is Netrani Island, which is near Murdeshwara. Because Netrani Island has a lot of pigeon, it is also known as Pigeon Island. So what is Pigeon Island, or where is Pigeon Island? Which of the following is known as Pigeon Island? Then the answer there is Netrani Island. St. Mary's Island is locally known as Tonse Par. It is a coconut island. The gateway to Karnataka is New Mangaluru port. So these are some of the very important points with respect to the coast of Karnataka, which are very important for us to remember. Let us move on to the last question. Consider the following statements about geography of Karnataka. Malnad region is also known as Sahyadris. Highest peak of Karnataka is 1913 meters. We know that highest peak of Karnataka is Mullayanagiri. Here they are telling highest peak of Karnataka is 1913 meters. Now we have seen that after coast we had Malnad region. So this is the Western Ghats, Malnad region. This is the Western Ghats region. This is also known as land of hills. They are also called as Sahyadris. They are run parallel to the coastline from north to the south. Now they have steep terrace like slopes in the west and gentle slope towards east. Here, if you consider from here to be, let us say, Malnad region, here this is very steep, but when you consider the right side region towards Maidan, the flow is it is a little slope in the west and it is gentle slope towards the east. Towards Maidan it is gentle, but towards the coast it is very steep, and this is known as ghats. because it is very steep. There is no delta also which is formed. Now the length is around 650 meters and 50 to 76 kilometers is the width. There are different ranges. Highest range is 900 to 1500 meters from sea level. Also, you have to remember one more important geographical phenomenon. Now let us consider this thing. Here it is very steep. Because it is very steep and here the slope is very gentle, what happens is whenever the clouds move towards this particular region, then they will obstruct that, and there will be these rain bearing winds, they will be obstructed, and there will be very high rainfall, very high rainfall. Okay, so and they cause heavy rainfall. So the rainfall is around 200 centimeters, 200 centimeters. So Malnad region, you call it as the region of highest rainfall, especially in Karnataka. There are different highest peaks also: Mullanagiri, Kudremukha, Kalahatagiri, then you have Rudragiri, etc. These are highest peaks, and all of these peaks are in Chikmagaluru district only. So besides these, other peaks of Malnadu region are Meritagudda, then you have Pushpagiri, and then Kodachadri, etc. These are one of the very beautiful sites. And this is the height of Mullanagiri. This is the height of Mullanagiri, which is the highest peak in Karnataka, which is the highest peak in Karnataka. So I hope till here you have understood. Let us continue in the third part. More questions will be coming up in the third part. Other than these questions, at the end of this e-paper, there are few other multiple choice questions as well. You can attempt those. Thank you. I'll see you soon in the next one.